Hello, everybody. This is Jim Kilmeade, and we're bringing you the American Soccer Club Zone today. This is going to be a great show. We have some great guests, and this is a show that will talk about not only the American Soccer Club New York in the NPSL, but in American soccer and international soccer in general. We have guests today, great guests today, and they're connected through youth soccer and now essentially professional soccer. And one of our guests, first guest, is Mark Lugris. Mark Lugris we'll give you his background, but he's an international soccer player as a captain of the Puerto Rican national team. Long career in major indoor soccer league and other leagues in this country, outdoor. But Mark and I go way back to playing against each other in college. I was a Hofstra Flying Dutchman, and he was a Fordham Ram, I believe it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so we go back way back, and we have a player here that we'll be talking to that has kind of brought us all together. His name is Aidan Colby from Northport, Northport Harbor Soccer Club alum, Stony Brook, and now Malloy College. But most importantly, his first year with the American Soccer Club New York and the NPSL. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mark, I think we go back to the days of trying to play professional soccer where you got paid in cash, you sometimes didn't get paid, you got a check, you had to run to the bank. We've been through it all. I've had a short career, you had a very long one. Aidan can't appreciate all this, but by the time we're done with his show today, he's gonna hear some interesting stories. But you know what? On an amazing note, we have the World Cup coming here in 2026 in the United States. It was here in 1994, so 32 years later, here we are. And we both remember what that did for U.S. soccer in 94. It changed the level. And we'll probably need a show to itself just to decide how our national team was then, where we are now. I don't know if we're further along. We're further along, but we may not be better on the world stage. But the world of soccer is completely changed, and it's exploded. Some of it for the better and some of it not for the better. But you also have a company that you founded called Cantera Football. It's your company, and I'll let you talk about that. And that's how Aidan came together with you, with Northport Harbor Soccer Club and the Red Bulls. But before we get into that, just brief history on how you got here to be sitting here with me, and then our involvement in American Soccer Club, New York.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to try and make that as short as I can because it is a very long story. But we probably met playing at the youth level against each other. Didn't know each other at the time, but then as we got to college, we kind of connected, and we had mutual friends. And, you started with the New York Arrows at that time in their marketing department, and I was trying to forge a career indoors at that time because there was no outdoor professional league.
And you did.
Yeah.
I gave up.
Yeah, well, you were probably right to give up. I mean, it didn't pay much. You had a lot of instability with the teams. The franchises folded every year. My particular situation was I would go to a team, play a year, it would fold, and then I would go in a dispersal draft and end up in places like Fort Wayne, Indiana. So it was an education in soccer and in surviving. And as well that market the sport and for the sport to grow, we were kind of like trailblazers in the sense that it wasn't about the money. It was our passion that drove us to what we wanted to do, which was be involved in soccer at different levels. And now we see the success that's come. And it's all come full circle because now you're running this club here on Long Island, which I think is amazing. It's giving our local players a great opportunity to display their skills. And Aidan's a perfect example of that.
And I'm glad you brought that up because the reason we're here today is that we've launched the American Soccer Club New York Zone show. But this is a show that's going to talk about the whole world of soccer. But we should talk about how we got to sit in this studio today and how this club was born. Part of your story, part of my story, the good stuff, the stuff that was challenging. It's given us a great perspective to be here today, to know how to try and do things right. And the good news is that there now is, I think, 25 soccer-specific stadiums built in this country. We have the American Soccer Club is in the level 4 of the American Soccer Professional Club Pyramid. We're about where Wrexham was a couple of years ago. We're on our way up, hopefully. But so for all the challenges, the game has exploded. Money is in the game, investment. And so we should be proud of that, even though we lament a lot of the negative stuff. It's really mostly incredibly positive. I never would have thought we would have been here 30 years later after 94 to see what we have. I sat with Don Garber and when I was head of Umbro North America, and I was sponsoring the Miami Fusion, which was an unsponsorable, failing franchise, for $400,000 a year. And I sat in his office when he became the new commissioner, and we talked about changing things. He says, Jim, I was brought here to sell franchises and build stadiums. Right now, I've lost 2 franchises, and I've built no stadium. So we're under a lot of pressure here. But now we've got 30 franchises, 15 stadiums. We have a USL, which I also worked in and operated a club in, that has now got over 100 teams nationwide. So the game is alive and well. And our MPSL league is in its 23rd year, and is incredible, enormous stability and an avenue for us to launch the American Soccer Club New York. So I want to bring Aiden in here now. Aiden, I think what people can identify with you is that soccer now is like the number 2 participatory sport in the country behind basketball, but it's a dominant sport. We came up, it was kind of a oppressed minority sport, I used to call it. Like, we had no rights, we couldn't get fields, we had nothing. There was no money, you couldn't get equipment, and now it's the opposite. Now, there's a negative side to that, but there's a real business here now. But the opportunity that Mark and I had, I think we call ourselves pioneers, because not everybody even understood our sport. Now you come up at a time where people do understand the sport. It's got a lot of respect, but now it's even harder to break through because there's so many players. So when did you start playing soccer, number one? And I know it was in the Northport Harbor Soccer Club in the youth center.
Yeah.
And how old were you when you started?
5, 6 years old.
5, 6 years old. Yeah. We're just like the bee and the honey, just running around. Yeah. And when did you know you loved it? Was it something happen right away, or did it take some couple of years?
I mean, right away I was a huge fan of the game, and of course, at first I didn't know I wanted to do it the rest of my life, but
Right.
as I played over the years, I just knew it. It was a sport I loved, and I want to continue playing for as long as I can.
So, do you remember when you first met Mark? When Mark first chose you for a team? Do you remember how old were you and when that happened?
I was probably around the age 10 to 12. I met Mark, and I played with him, and it was a great experience. He showed me a lot about the game, taught me and mentored me, and really helped.
Was he tough on you?
Definitely, yeah.
Well, Mark, let's take it from there. You formed you became the director of coaching for. You've been coaching for a long time at all different levels across Long Island and other places, but you became the director of coaching for the Northport Harbor Soccer Club, which is a club that my kids grew up in, and then I got a chance to coach in, and we got the chance to come together again,
Right.
you and I. What year did you start? Did you take over the club?
I started in Northport in 2011. I had a mutual friend whose son was playing on a team I was coaching in Stony Brook, and he basically asked me to coach his younger son at Northport. And I came there in 2011. There was other training organizations there working, and then just over time, I ended up with 1 team, 2 teams, then 3 teams, and then finally, someone inside the board said, "Would you like to help us take over the club and manage the training program?" And that started around 2018.
And as a coach in the club, and totally objective, that was one of the better decisions Northport Harbor Soccer Club ever made, because they got your experience, your stability, and also your approach, which is, I could consider kind of an organic approach to the game. It's not just about the top players; it's about all the players, about the sport, and I think that's what Cantera is. You designed to represent. You got coaches. I've seen you because you and I came together coaching together, which was really fun.
That was great.
And that's your favorite team, the Massachusetts Celtic, right?
Yeah, 100%.
More than the Red Bulls, right? And we should say Aiden and Mark came together with the Red Bulls when Mark selected him to be on that team. That was a team that stayed together, just like Celtic did. In fact, all your teams have pretty much stayed together.
Yes.
The Rebels, Celtic, the Sharks. And that's not an easy thing to do. But what people may not realize, to keep a youth soccer team together in this environment, in Long Island, and probably anywhere in the country, is almost impossible, because there's the Academy de Jour, I call them, popping up. Barcelona popped up. Valencia popped up. You now have the MLS reaching down with lower academies that are all pay-for-play, that are selling, quite honestly, a lot of fluff, but parents get excited by that, and they go leave their town clubs. My club, Massapequa, where I grew up, I had a great experience. They're going through this. Northport's gone through it. Northport seems to have come out of it with the stability. But, Aiden, you stayed with Red Bull your entire youth career. You did some supplementary things, but what made you stay with Red Bull as you began to become a better player and improve and became someone that was scoring goals? Why did you stay with Mark and the Northport Harbor Soccer Club?
I mean, since I joined Red Bulls and Mark was my coach, I had a great relationship with him, so it was definitely always tough to leave. Sure, I would say I thought about leaving a few times, but I just thought it was very important to stay in my hometown and my hometown players, and I had a great relationship with all of them, so I thought that was very important. And
Looking back, any regrets?
Not at all, no.
Yeah, I think you're a great example that you can get to a Division I college scholarship and play with your local club as long as you have the right coach and the right team. Because you did it. You did it, and you stayed with that team with a lot of good players. I got to watch that team from its almost beginning with my stepson, Matt Diaz, being a player on
Right.
it. The biggest soccer player,
Yes,
even
he
bigger than
was.
you,
Yes.
but now a great football player. But that team stayed together through a lot and excelled and did really, really, really well. And kudos to you because I think you're a great example to go back to the club. And I know you're coaching in the club now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and talk to some of these kids. And part of the American Soccer Club's goal is not only to develop a great professional, this year is a Pro-Am team, professional franchise that people can aspire to be part of, and we'll talk about that. But it's also to inspire enthusiasm through the crazy world of pay-for-play model and the competitiveness of leaving your club. We're out there talking to more community clubs than we are the super clubs. And I think that in 2025, what I've learned, having done this 30 years ago, is that the enthusiasm gap is important, and I think that we have a role to play with that by bringing you back to Northport and to other youth clubs, which, as you know, you've already done multiple appearances, and you're going to do more. We're going back to the club to reconnect with these hometown clubs, and they need it. I actually think they need it. I think years ago, I don't know if they needed it. Now, we're having Northport night in the upcoming game, which I have to give a good plug for our club. It's a big game for us against Hartford City on Tuesday, June 24th at 7 p.m. at our home field of Hofstra University's Captain's Field, which I'm happy to say was my alma mater, and I got a chance to be up on that wall. And so I'm very proud to go back there with this team. But that's our next big game. Aiden will be out there. But, Aiden, you're surrounded by a whole bunch of Long Island players. Brian Saramago from New Hyde Park. Stalin Acosta from Brentwood. It goes on and on. What is it like playing for a whole bunch of guys that you played against, older or younger? And then we'll talk about some recent developments.
Yeah, so, growing up, I played all sorts of levels with these players, and to be able to play with them today on American Soccer Club, I know it's very important to all of us to, come together from wherever we were playing college, other clubs, to come together and now be working together to play on this team today. I think it's very important to all of us.
How is the level? What did you think of the level? What did you think it was beforehand, and how are you finding it now?
I'm finding it to be a very good level for all of us. I think we're all getting better, working together, and it's a great environment for us.
How does it compare to the college level? You just had a year of Stony Brook.
Yeah.
A year or two of Stony Brook.
I would say it's different.
Yeah.
Very physical. A lot of older players, you get players in their 30s where I wouldn't
know all the tricks.
Yeah, I wouldn't see that in college. So there's definitely more experience.
A little bit more physical and aggressive.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would say so,
yeah.
definitely. But it's good for me because their experience, having players on our team with that experience helps me a lot, being only 20 years old. So I think it'll just, in the end, make me a better player.
That's great. I agree with that. Mark, from your playing experience, things have changed when you were coming up to develop. The pathway was narrower, but it was clearer. Now it's a little foggy. What do you think? How would you explain that first to the world? And then what do you think? What was better about when we came up than now? And then what do you think that these guys have such an advantage on, if there is one?
I think you hit the nail on the head. A clear pathway.
Right.
We knew that if we were a good high school player, we would go to one event, a high school all-star game, maybe Catholic high school against public high school. College coaches would come, watch the game, and then basically walk down on the field and say, I want you to come to my program.
That's right.
Now you go to all these college showcases, ID camps. It's become an industry. It's a moneymaker for the colleges. I think that's a real issue right now. I think the pay-to-play model has overtaken at every level, even at the college recruiting level. And I think that we're going to have to fix that in order to put the talent where we can see it and where the talent has a clear pathway to grow. Right now, one of the things I suggested a long time ago when Kyle Martino was running for USSF president, I was working basically on the youth development model, his platform for that with Mickey Kites and Paul McGlynn, who are both, to me, some of the best developers in the United
at the
States.
top of the food
young
chain,
talent,
yeah.
amazing. So we worked
That's
on
Beachside Soccer Club, and that's Gachi
Gotchi.
Soccer Club.
And now they're together
Yeah.
at Beachside. But those two gentlemen, like we sat down and we had long discussions. And in France, they have a database for the players. Every player in France, whatever club he starts in, they track where he started.
What age?
I believe they start at U11 or U12, and it's tied into the Claire Fontaine Academy.
Yep.
And what they do is they're basically tracking that player and finding where the best players are coming from, and where their pathway is, and also who are the coaches, where are they being developed, so that as a federation you know where your talent hubs are and who is developing that talent, and where the success is in areas where there's not a lot of talent, or that there's not the resources to develop it. So I think that that's really where we have to move away from pay to play and more towards this merit-based system and a tiered system where a player, it doesn't matter what club he's at, can play with his team because he's in a good environment and go all the way up. So a club like Northport can't play in ECNL because they say so. We might have a team that's
It's a
good.
velvet rope.
Right,
Yeah.
there's a rope there, and there's
There's
you
a
know,
bouncer,
There's a
and he's not
bouncer, and
letting
he
you in.
says,
Yeah.
"No, we're not letting you in. You have some
Right.
good players, but maybe we'll try and get them to come over to our club, but we're not going to let you in." So, in Europe and other places, they have that merit system where you can go all the way. You could be a tiny club, and if you have a group of great players and a good developer, they can stay together for a good part of their development, and then there's a kickback if they make the professional level. So there is a reward as well for developing those players. We don't have
So the
that.
money comes back
The
down
money
to
comes
the
back down.
grassroots, and then it begins to churn. And ironically, we're trying to with the American Soccer Club, which you've been a integral part. Mark is also one of our sporting directors. Committee advising us with Bob Montgomery and Perry Vanderbeck, Farouk Qureshi, Jim Rooney,
Great people.
people that really span incredible experience on and off the field to advise us through this. And we're going to need you and all of them because Kevin Reardon and myself that founded this whole franchise, this whole group, through the BQE Soccer Partners platform. We formed the American Soccer Club with this idea and pulled you guys together because we realized that not only do we not know it all, that with all you guys, we're going to know a lot more than we knew together. But it's changing as we're sitting here doing this radio show. There's something going on in Manhattan with the MLS. There's something going on in Kansas City, wherever the U.S. Soccer office is, that it's going to affect what you and I are doing right now, and it's going to affect Aiden's career potentially. It might be good, might be bad, but the point is that it's constantly changing, but changing like month to month, not every 2 or 3 years. So we're going to have to adjust our model. It's like the old flight takes off from the airport over here at Republic, and as soon as you get up there, you have a flight plan, and then the weather changes it, and you start. We're having to adjust our flight. We think we have a good model that has to stay intact, but it's going to have to adjust to what's going on. And even since we started our first game May 4th, things have changed dramatically, just in our own market, let alone the country. Now, Aiden, I don't want you, I'm not going to quiz you on trying to keep up with it because you got to keep your head down and become the best player you can be. Yeah. And I've seen you develop before our eyes right here in a couple of months, really. But are you aware? Does this affect how you get out of bed every morning when you see MLS Next Academies? You see what's going on with the New York City FC is a legitimate professional team in this market. They have a legitimate academy that launched our role model, Joe Scally, into a European soccer career, Mönchengladbach and Bundesliga in Germany. And then they have now 2 tiers underneath that, which are all pay for play, which are picking off players from Northport and New Hyde Park and West Hempstead and other clubs. How does this? Do you notice the change even since you got out of high school, which is only 2 years ago?
I mean, yeah, definitely. All these academies that are, I used to say, pay to play.
Right.
I would say that definitely, like growing up playing for Northport Cal Harbor United, it definitely affects it. And looking back and seeing like the youth players now, that the academies show them, like they say, oh, there's better opportunity here. I see that it can hurt the club, and obviously that's not a good feeling for me. So
And you're coaching now too, so you're seeing a little bit of the other side because you're coaching with Mark and Cantera at Northport. And are you coaching younger kids for the most part?
Yeah. For the most part.
So thank God they're oblivious to all this. They can just have fun. Have you enjoyed the coaching aspect? Do you find it challenging?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've been liking it.
The kids like him, Mark?
Oh, they love him. They love him. You know, I call him the big monster. We put him in goal, scoring the big monster. But he's great with the kids, and the kids relate to him because he's walked in their shoes, and you know, I think he's got a playful aspect about him that he likes to interact with the kids. So it's really good. It's full circle for us, and we have a lot of players, ex-players now.
I want to bring that up too,
Yeah.
because not only one of your ex-players, Justin Carano, he works in our front office now. He was a great player in his own right at Cortland, and had some knee injuries, but he now works with us, community relations and social media. And when we went to Vets, where I lived for 10 years, I kind of missed going down there. 7 minutes exactly from my house. And I went down there, and I saw Danny, and I saw Steve Sisso, and it's really great to see those guys. And Stefan, of course,
Yep.
the
Stefan
goalkeeper
Lawrence.
coach that everybody's petrified of in town, but he's a big teddy bear. So there's I've seen a culture grow, and I'd like to think that part of that culture was Mike Carano's team in the early days, the Rebels,
Yep.
which were
Correct.
one of the better teams Northport ever had. And then our Celtic team that was really like the train that they just could and then just excelled and never we grinded it out. And that team maximized their potential. And I always say the highest GPA in the history of
Yes.
youth soccer,
Some smart guys
which
there.
means we should have not been a good team. We're actually a good team. But that between the Rebels, Celtic, and there's great teams that came before that. My daughter's
Yes.
team was a great team. But the point is that I saw in my time that developed to go to the Red Bulls and the Sharks and how it affected the high school program, which has no idea how lucky it is to have the club. And hopefully one day we'll wake up, or it's not too late. That the club is funneled against all the odds of this crazy world we're living in with youth academies and pulling players, has had great players and really, really good teams. Not quite got to a county championship, but they've been competitive. What did you? I wanted to ask this question to everybody, every youth player, because there's a big conversation now going on in the soccer world. It's been going on for 15 years. If you get to one of these big academies, and we'll talk about the American Soccer Club Academy that's going to be coming soon, they say you shouldn't play high school ball. It's bad for your development. It's bad for this. It's bad for that. This is a tough question because there's really no definite right answer or wrong answer, I don't think. But what is it about the Americana of playing for your high school team, whether it be your local school? And I'm going to first ask Aiden, and then I'm going to ask you to weigh in on the big picture from the standpoint that you've seen both sides. Aiden, are you really happy that you got a chance to play for your high school team? Was that like one of your highlights?
Yeah, I'm extremely happy. I
Right.
mean, I think it was a big part of my career was playing high school ball, and I would say that was a major part in not, say, playing for an academy or one of these teams where they said, no, you can't play for your high school club. Because I had friends that did play academy who their coaches told them they can't play, and that was a big hit for them. Everyone I knew that wanted to play for their high school club. So it's a great part of growing and being
Yeah.
part of that team.
And
It's
I don't
very
think
important.
foreign players from any other country understand what that is like. And yet, Mark, on the other side, the purists look at it like from a soccer standpoint, it's not good soccer. They have referees are different. What's your thoughts on that? Because I know you see both sides.
Yeah, I think now we've gotten to the point where a player has, if they're at a Tier 1 MLS club, that MLS club is investing in that player, and that player is on a pro track. So I think that there's a give and take there, that if you're going to take that pathway, you have to abide by that rule because they're investing in you and they see you as maybe making a living from the sport.
Right.
If you're not
And
in
that's
that
Joe
top-
Scally. Joe Scally was in that category. He didn't get to play for his Sachem High School team, I
Right.
don't think.
And
Maybe
that
1 year.
That's a sacrifice you're making
Yeah.
to play at that level. Again, you can have that balance and make it anyway. If you're not inside that MLS tier and you're just trying to break your way up, it's a great place for exposure. A lot of college coaches come down to see you, so it's a real positive in a lot of ways. And I think socially, it gives them a lot of balance in their life. It lets them be a part of something bigger and connect with other kids in the school that they would not normally connect. And I remember when he played his semifinal for the county, there was probably 1,000 people there.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Probably about 1,000
And
people.
and I think that's everything in life is a trade-off. You can't have it all, and that's whether it be
No.
a politician or whether it be a business. When you make a decision, it's never 100% win. You have to take a trade-off. And then later back, was the trade-off worth it? Did we spend all that marketing money promote American Soccer Club? Did we get the fans in the seats as a return? So, and you don't know that till you're done. But this is a conversation that's ongoing, but I guess it's a small percentage of players right now. And let's bring this all into the American Soccer Club and why Kevin Reardon and myself have been talking about this since we birthed the Rough Riders in 1993, used a very similar model, and we were able to put it into use and won a national championship in 2 years, Organization of the Year, put 9 guys into MLS, 3 national team players, and Giovanni Savarese, Chris Armas, Tony Miola was already there. Guys like Jimmy Rooney and others went on to have phenomenal careers. And we had the Defender of the Year in Travis Rinker out of John Glenn High School. We had Danny Leon, 17-year-old kid out of Peru.
Good player.
And now still here in Long Island. So all these years later, the American Soccer Club has come from that model of investing in local players and staying with them. So if you lose a game, you don't just go find another foreign player for a couple of... We're sticking with our guys. We're sticking with Aiden. We're sticking, and we're a team that's just about 500, and we got a playoff stretch to come. We have 4 games left. This big one Tuesday night at Hofstra at 6:24, June 24th. But I'm looking at how we built the club and what our concept is. Our concept is to put this American Soccer Club team, the Fighting Tomcats, and we've got a great logo. We're taking a team picture soon that will be out on the internet and available to buy with the actual F-14 Tomcat made by Grumman here in Long Island over in Uniondale. But the youth academy that we're going to develop that will be able to interact with the professional team that we have with right now in the NPSL, we're starting to get into that. We're signing and announcing a 16-year-old player signing in the days to come, announced before our next game. And we're going to have a fully funded youth academy that will be for maybe 100 to 200 kids as we begin. So I know you're a big believer in that. You've advised us on how to do that, and we're looking at how to do that now outside of the MLS structure, the USL structure, the ECNL structure, and the market is starting to tell us what we want to do. What's your thoughts on that youth academy and having players come in to train with Aiden Colby's and all the players we have on our team, and even a new signing, the Brian Saramagos that have played 3 years in Portugal? What is it from a coaching standpoint to that experience of interacting with the team? I mean, they're both important. What do you think? Do you think one is more important than the other, or would they complement each other?
I think that it's given a player like Aiden a great opportunity, and I've seen the development already this year in his game. So allowing players to cross-pollinate with older players, different levels, it's gonna increase the growth. It's gonna allow the player, because in our era, we were 16, we were good, we were already playing on men's teams. That's where you learned how to play, because your athletic talent couldn't be used. You had to use your smarts to basically navigate those situations and problems in the game. So for him, it's been a great thing to kind of go to this level. It's higher than college. And now he's going to go back to the college game and bring what he learned there. And I think he's going to see how much he grew as a player.
Yeah, and Aiden, if you want to see Aiden, you're going to come down to on Tuesday night, June 24th, 7 p.m. at Hofstra University, Captain's Field, my alma mater, to play on probably the nicest soccer-specific venue in the Northeast, definitely New York metro area, next to Belson. You can see Aiden Colby and the rest of the American Soccer Club's Fighting Tomcats at 7 o'clock that night. To get tickets, you go to ascnewyork.com and just click on tickets, and you can buy tickets. Tickets are $14 if you walk up, $12 if you buy in advance through the website or otherwise. And if you get into a group of 50 or more, which we have 5 clubs coming, it's going to be a great crowd, which are all coming in with 50 to 100 players. So we're looking to sell out the 2,000-seat arena for the first time this year. Tuesday night is a big game. Hartford City is a good team. They're top of the division. We knocked them off, and we changed our path, and we probably get into the playoffs. So no pressure, Aiden, but you got to play well on Sunday. And I will have to say, Aiden scored one of the better goals you're going to see at any level 2 weeks ago against Osner at Belston Stadium at St. John's. An absolute great cross by Albert Nieto from Ecuador. Phenomenal, one of our great experienced international players. A driven ball that Aiden somehow blasted into the net on a full volley and really changed the course of the game. So can you do that again, Aiden? We want to do that at home.
I'll definitely try, yeah.
Yes, and by the way, K-Joy, this is going to be a weekly show. K-Joy, 98.3 here in Long Island. We love this station. This is our home. This is now a soccer station from here on in. The American Soccer Club, New York Zone. That's our show. That's our story. Thank you, Mark Lugris. Thank you, Aiden Colby.
Thank you.
Thank you, K-Joy.